everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's Up Tube. Welcome back. If this is your 7th The Rookie Season 6 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world today. Just want to get this out of the way. Ironically, this is episode 7 of Season 6 that we're reviewing in just a little moment. And I'm very thrilled to announce that yes, we got the renewal. We're back, baby. Next year, Season 7. Let's go. Congratulations, Dream Team. We're back. I'm so happy. I was more enthusiastic a couple weeks ago. I've been very exhausted this week, so I do apologize. My energy levels do seem a little shallow, but I am very, very happy that we will be back, hopefully, for a full season this fall with our favorite characters. And I'm excited. I really, really am. I know things have been a little murky lately with how, like, I've seen the critical response of last episode before we went on the break. And honestly, again, like I said this before in that review, that trust the writers. The writers would not do anything without being self-aware of what the larger story is. And again, we will see how this all turns out, really. Just again, the writers are much better than crafting stories than us, so I will just leave it at that. However long that takes, we will see. We will see how that progresses. But today again, congrats. We will return later this year with another season of reviews. Hopefully we'll get some feds, allocation, considering the fact that I know this season was kind of like put together last minute because of all the strikes and everything. So hopefully we will get to see some of that carry on. Maybe I'm stretching too much about that. And also on the other side of the spectrum, that we will do a proper season 3 review, a definitive review before we kick off season 7 in the future. But with all that being said, tonight we're back. It's been another 3 weeks. I felt tired, and again, I actually was a little happy considering the fact I got so much on my plate that I was so happy to actually try to allocate my time a little bit better. Not to say this is an inconvenience, I'm not saying that at all, but just having that extra 2 hours and a half of not working on this was good for my sanity. It also made me appreciate it. It also made me miss the show even more. Wanting to get back to this third core, seeing how we were going to wrap up the season. And just to get into it, I think this was, very serviceable. I think this was a very fine episode to, kick off the last 4 episodes of the season. It seems like, whether it was on purpose or not, each quarter or in this case triplet, it felt like its own little mini arc. It was kind of telling a little story, then moving on to the next one, but it's all connected with a through line. And sometimes I really do like that when they're self-aware. They're like, yeah, we're only gonna have 10 episodes this season, so let's make it count. Let's try and do something that is going to be engageful for fans, keep the conversation alive, keep the fandom going. And I think that's what they're doing their job over. Yes, again, we are going to have this moment where people are not going to be happy with certain things that they're doing. But again, remember, at the end of the day, the show is not serviceable to one group. It's trying to keep everything going. And, I'll say my thoughts, my final pieces when we do get to the season 6 review by next month. But at least what I will say for now is that they have made some interesting choices this season. And some I'm going to agree with it. Some I'm going to be like, I want to wait a little longer before I finally say my piece on it. Because, again, one thing could have a effect on the other once you get to that point. But going into this episode, I feel like, it was very much of a different, they weren't stretching the bandwagon here. Everyone was on deck for one solid case, which we haven't had in a little bit. But everyone's kind of going for their own emotional developments, their own character traits, character moments that they have to figure out, especially with everything that we had to deal with in the last quarter. Definitely, it kind of feels like there are moments where it feels like our rookie fam is kind of not as tight as it used to be. I don't know, maybe it's like that season 5, the post-mortem where everyone's just kind of doing their own things. And I'm like, that's the one problem when you have an ensemble show. It's like you're got to do things with your cat, but there are some cross-pollinations. This episode kind of reminded me, these people, they're still a group, they're still a family. And as turbulence as times may be, you still find time to get able to spend time and actually vocalate that, no, I am on your side. I am thinking of you in either a direct way or an indirect way. Especially with the plot is being a little bit more like, I felt like they purposely went a little bit more further on the graphic, on the tone and wording a little bit. Maybe that's just a me thing. I definitely felt this was a little bit like you're pushing the TV 14 rating just a tad bit. But honestly, I think this was just a really good episode just to come back into it, and definitely it just leaves me with even more questions on how things will progress in the next few weeks as we, wrap up season 6 and, close the lid on this chapter of the story. But without all that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So I want to say we are beginning in, honestly, I completely forgot how do we begin the cold open. I honestly do forget. I'm trying to stretch it out so my brain can catch up, because by the way, there are going to be a couple moments I am going to miss in this review, because there was two breaking news bulletins that happened during the episode where there's a protest going on in my neck of the woods, but in the city, in Columbia University, the whole protest happening right now, so they interrupted the stream a couple times. So I've still got the gist of it. It was just a couple pieces I may miss. If I do miss anything, it's because of the breaking in. Which honestly, again, like living in New York, it's like I've passed through a couple of those protests. I mean, again, like you're sitting down in a private university, so I do understand that is going to create somewhat of a turbulence response, which again I do understand. I won't speak much about it because that's going way far beyond the point of we're focusing on the review. But I'm just letting you guys know that the reason why I missed certain things is because the New York stream was interrupted by that. So I'm just letting you know. And with that being said, I do not remember the cold open at all. I really do not know. I'm trying to remember for the life of me, and I cannot. I'm assuming it involved Nolan getting into some ridiculous scenario once again. But probably speaking, we get from what I do remember, we pick up with Lopez and Wesley, which Again, this is the problem when you have a big ensemble show where sometimes you don't get every character. Like Wesley's only here for a scene, and it's not even a scene. He's more like just saying, "Oh, bye, I'm busy today. Like I'll see you next week." And I'm like, probably just again, you're gonna have your days, your episodes where you're gonna be there for one scene, then they're gonna be episodes where you're there for half the shoot. So, so I love you. Both Wesley and Lopez are heading off for work. They're leaving their trusted nanny in the care for the children, which we don't get to see the little baby girl right now, which again indicates that they just can't afford a baby actress right now. Sadly, while Lopez is getting her things ready in order, she does knock over the nanny's purse, which reveals she had a weapon, even though that it was claimed to be for self-defense. Lopez does not like that whatsoever and immediately fires her, calls over Wesley's mom to go take care of the kids for the day while she gets a new sitter on the line, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. Bailey drops off Nolan at work because they had a pretty intensive night of love making, trying to get that baby in the oven. I'm so bad. I'm really so bad at this. But that is their goal, to try and get pregnant as soon as possible, trying to keep this, while the energy is still high. And as much as, no one realizes, this is the fun part of making a child. Bailey being the more competitive nature of the two of them, it can get quite strenuous sometimes where are we doing this out of love or are we doing this as a competition, as a race? What is the point here? Selena pops in as they're walking together back to the walking to the station. Selena asks Nolan if they could take a look at a nearby, I guess, apartment area or a housing area. As indicated as from last time, yes, Selena is looking for a way out of her current apartment situation. She does want to try to move on to a much more accommodating area. So, and again, like everything else going on in the world, renting in general in any of these major cities, very, very expensive. I think one of the only holdovers is Chicago. But if you're going to New York or Cali, if you're going to spend a whole lot of money, you really are. You want to make your dreams happen. You want to live in the big city. You're going to have to pay a big old buck or get super lucky. We cut over inside, sadly. Well, I forgot. There was a scene I forgot. I don't think it was the cold open, but it was an important scene. Sadly, today is the beginning of Tamara's end at the Chen residence. She's officially moving out to moving with friends a few miles away. But, again, Chen not having much family right now. Again, this has not been Chen's season. she got way low on the technical exam. She just lost her boyfriend, and her pseudo sister from another mother is leaving her. You know, even though Lucy's not her mom, it's still like, you know, it's still family. It's, you know, found family. It's like, you know, you live in this enclosed space for like 2 years. Like you kind of get close to a person. But Lucy's still trying to, like, you know, keep up with good spirits, trying to, like, you know, be very positive for tomorrow's departure, you know, even trying to be the Joshua, like, you know, if you need more time, you know, a few more weeks, I don't mind, you can stay here a few more months if you want to. I really wouldn't care. And tomorrow's like, you know, right, like, you know, if you need me to stay, I don't mind, like, you know, if you really need me. But Lucy's not trying to be the restricted person. She definitely wants to support tomorrow as he heads out there to the grander world, try to make it on her own claim again. This time on the right footing, this time with an actual support system. However, we do get the news that sadly Tim has been let go from Metro. While Gray is not entirely happy with him, he's still going to keep him on the force. But sadly, the Metro officer did not think kindly of Tim, especially since Tim is the new brass. He's the new guy, and he made a big mistake like this. So definitely now Tim is out. So he's going to be returning back to full sergeant patrol duty going forward, which, again, you know, like, this was kind of like one of those last minute things just to make the Lucy-Tim relationship work in the moment. Definitely this wasn't like something that Tim was even like asking for. He just understood he understood the reasoning for it, but since, like, you know, okay, I broke up with Lucy, I really have no reason to be held back from Metro anymore. So but you know, I could definitely tell Tim's hurting right now. You know, both Lucy and Tim are not in the best places right now. You know, Tim lost a lot of credibility with Gray. He lost his potential future with Metro, and he's kind of like taking a step back a little bit. He's kind of like, you know, back to basis to an extent being. But, you know, Gray's like, you know, at least you're with us again fully, and, you know, that, and Tim acknowledges that, yes, I'm going to do everything I can to re-earn your trust to the fullest, no matter how long that takes. And Gray's like, perfect, because you don't have to trust me right now, because sadly today you're going to be riding along with the station shrink, Aaron's shrink he's been having in the first few episodes of the season. And at first Bradford's like, why do I need to do this? Like, I'm perfectly fine, you know. Okay, it was a couple missteps, okay, like, you know, who else wouldn't have that on the record, you know. It happens sometimes. But Gray's like, yeah, well, you had a recent pseudo PTSD episode with your ex-army foe / buddy, whatever you want to classify it as. You broke up with your girlfriend. You just got let go from Metro. I kind of need to make sure you're in the right mental play, which I'm like, yeah, anyone would freaking ask that. It's just Bradford being kind of like thinking like, okay, I've been through enough. I don't need this right now. But sadly, he's gonna get that. He's gonna get that one way or another. Otherwise, if he does not participate in this ride along, then Bradford will get sentenced to mandatory therapy. So it's either you get the mandatory therapy, which goes on your record, or you just do the one ride along, do the best you can, and hope to God you don't get to that point where we would have to assign you to that. So Bradford has no choice but to accept it. Lopez tells Harper about the nanny situation now that she's back at square zero, and even Harper admits she's in the same scenario as well, because their last sitter could not commit to a full-time schedule, as, you know, James is busy running the community center, which, again, the one thing you expect me to forget, but, like, they did it again. Like, I literally said season 3, I really hope we didn't do the community subplot just for the sake of tackling the major issue at the time, which, again, was important, but I'm kind of hoping that they were going to, like, continue this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful that James stayed along as a recurring character to be with Harper, so he's always around. But, like, there's a whole community there that we could have, like, it is what it is. Old Joe from 3 years ago would probably be yelling at me right now, but it is what it is by that point. The two decided to team up to go find a brand new nanny for themselves and for their kids, hopefully without causing too much headache on their day-to-day activities. Aaron's positive shrink about to begin with Bradford on his ride along, and Bradford being a more caring, more giving person, he's allowing good old Aaron to tag along. And again, this is the first time that Aaron has been next to his former therapist since the awkward, are you interested in me? Or I'm kind of picking up some vibes, you want to kind of do something? Like, you know, that entire shoot down. So, yeah, definitely, like, you know, it's not anyone's day. It really isn't. Even poor old Nolan's getting his willy, you know, used up more often than not because of a baby making it. You know, everyone's suffering. Lucy and Bradford does have a pretty awkward interaction in the hallway. Again, like, you know, I again, I've never been for a breakup like that. I mean, again, the only time I've broken up with people, it's usually been we broke up and I never see them again. So it's like this is the number one rule to why people say that if you're going to date anyone, do not date your coworkers, because if y'all break up and you also want to keep your jobs, you better get used to this awkward interaction. Which actually I have seen that before. In my first job, there was a girl I was kind of interested in, and then she was like dating one of the new kids on the block. Not the band, it's just a preference I made. And they broke up, and the guy had to leave the job because she had legacy status, i.e., working there longer than him, so he had to get let go. So that's why everyone says never date anyone from your coworker. I learned that the hard way. Not even in the way that would be properly well suited for, but. Anywho, sadly to say, Smithy is up to his own shenanigans again, taking a sort of like a bet pool for how did Lucy and Tim break up. And honestly, some of these are kind of like hurtful. Like, again, this has not been Lucy's season whatsoever. And this is not after the pot. Like, Smithy is really kind of like, this is like a piece of shit moment for Smithy. I can't even like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Smithy! I wasn't even gonna do that, but I'm like, you know what, fuck it. For the lineage of the show, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, that's kind of fucked up to do. Where do we go from here? Yeah, Lucy and so Gray's teaming up with Lucy on her ride along, similar to what the shrink is doing for Tim. He's also going to do as a wellness check, just make sure Lucy's head's in the right space, that everything's going fine. And Lucy even tells him like, no, I'm fine. I appreciate the concern, but I'm fine. Like, I'll be fine. Don't worry. Like, it's just a minor bump in the road. I'll get over it. She even invites Aaron and Gray in front of Tim for tomorrow's going away party. And I'm just like, damn, that was just like a kind of like a dick move. But again, like, that is deserved. Tim definitely did not deserve an invite to that. He lost that opportunity from the beginning. Well, not from the beginning, from like yesterday. So, yeah, definitely he deserved that. Tim's just like, he's just standing there kind of taking it like, this is the most emotion I've seen Tim on the job in a while, because he understands he fucked up bad. And again, I do understand he thinks he's doing the right thing, but at the same time, I can feel the regret in his head, like, did I really make the right decision? So from then on, everyone gets loaded into their shops, ready to roll out. Nolan and Selena talk about the renting issue again. As well as just touching upon base with not on the other part yet, not quite yet, but yeah. So she's looking out. Even Nolan shoots the idea that, hey, tomorrow's moving out of Lucy's place. Maybe she would be open to another roommate ASAP. And Selena's like, no, I kind of don't want to. Like, she's just in a very emotional place right now that I don't want to be the emotional go-to support body. I don't want to be the rebound tenant. And I'm just like, damn, like, Selena, you chill out. I don't think Lucy was that close with you yet to even be dropping those sort of factoids on you. Just quite yet, that's just my opinion on it. Yeah, so from then, everyone's wandering around. Lucy and Gray respond to the first call, which ironically happens to be a couple breaking up call, which I'm like, damn, that's just... The writers really know how to nail that nail on the mark there. Really knows how to. Apparently the guy faked his death to get out of, marrying his girlfriend, which I'm like... Again, everyone, communication is key in a relationship. Please, if you are feeling any sort of, concern or second thought, as much as it might hurt, faking your death and being discovered is going to hurt more for them than you. And this guy honestly is an asshole, because literally he was like about to start flirting with Chen once the situation diffused. I'm like, okay, this guy's a fucking asshole. Get him out of here. Even Gray makes a very snarky remark when Lucy accuses him of placing this like scenario in front of them so that Lucy can be tested, and Gray's like, I am not into your personal life whatsoever to even care about even doing this with you. Like, I like you, but I don't like you that much to be hiring actors to stage a 911 call just to test you. That's not what it is. You're watching too much reality TV, which I'm like, that is a really well done comparison right there. We cut up into to Nolan and Selena responding to a 911 call. It's a mom with her baby. Apparently, their nanny, who was taking care of the baby just not that long ago, disappeared without being dismissed from her service, or just letting them know that she's leaving. So it is very concerning. So they're just looking around at the nanny cam. Nothing's really sticking out. It's just like a random like a leave without any sort of forcefulness, without anything. So it's a bit concerning, mind you. They page in Harper and Lopez to get their opinion on it, which I'm like, yeah, no, well, the girl's clean, like, troubled home, but like nothing to write home about. So they'll definitely do some digging. They'll definitely like put in some more research over there. Yeah, so from then I want to say we jump all over the place. Like everyone here is on the same case. So I'm like, I'm not jumping. There's no jumping between subplots or anything. I do know the next real progression is when I want to say so Bradford and Aaron are looking more into the just in case, there is a husband to this whole thing, which I'm like, it shouldn't be involved, but like you got to consider all the possibilities here. So they're going to go look that up. Bradford gets a little bit snarky, a little bit more direct with Aaron as probably a need to vent some anger, but the psychiatrist is noting and like, yeah, no, this isn't proper behavior. Like, it just seems like you're trying to keep this this very strict environment going to kind of keep your personality in check, because this is kind of how you've been raised to do it from your father, which I'm like, this woman just knows how to attack Bradford from the nerve point. Not even a physical battle, just from the nerve points. I'm like, damn, this woman knows her stuff. So from there, I know they eventually so there's a best friend to the woman that's missing. They contact her mom, and her mom's like, I don't know where they are. I'm paying, they got their cell phone, they do their own thing. I kind of just let them do what they want. I really have no control over what their location is. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there we go. Mother of the year, everyone. Speaking of that, maybe Bailey calls into Nolan, letting him know, like, yeah, I'm kind of feeling him right now. Like, it feels like now would be the time to make a baby. So how would you feel about having sex in the back of an ambulance? Which I'm like, she should know by this point that Nolan answers most of his calls on speaker, right? Like, you should really know that. You should really know that. And, Nolan, again, Selena's just way too close to this. Like, this is not a rookie family. It's just like, they're crossing so many personal lines. And it's not even funny. It's just well, to be fair, I literally started my first day of work seeing my coworker's ass because he was doing our other coworker in the supply room. So what am I to say anything? But eventually they do get a hit. I think this is when the first breaking news broke in. But from my piecing together is that the nanny had a best friend, which was the mom that visited, that they just visited. And the best friend would usually just hang out at the family's place, considering the fact that you shoot they're close. They don't really have anywhere else to go. So she just hangs out there. And the presumption is the husband was attracted to the best friend. So they started sleeping together. And once Harper and Lopez take her to the interrogation room to kind of just let her know, yeah, there is a high possibility that your husband might have been having an affair with your nanny's best friend, which, again, is not the most comforting thing you want to hear in the entire world. That your husband's cheating on you with a younger woman. That really is not the best thing to be, or cheating in general. Just you don't want to hear that ever in your life. I think from that point onwards, we're gonna get over to, where do we go over to? I know eventually Lucy and Gray get a lead on, because they eventually get the phone, get inside the phone. They figure out she took an Uber somewhere, which they went to a rental house, which again is kind of weird to be there. They head inside the property. The only two things they found is a massive pool of blood and a pregnancy test. So the best friend is pregnant with the husband's baby. So that easily escalates things, that, okay, the husband does not want this baby whatsoever. He needs to get rid of the people ASAP, which I'm like, I could just go to an abortion clinic. I mean, sensitive talk, I do understand, but murder is not I don't really understand how people do it. They just don't cheat on people. Just be with your partner. Again, communication is key, everyone. The whole point of this episode for me is to explain communication is key. Let that be. Yeah, even Aaron and Tim go to verify for the workplace where the husband is at. He hasn't come back from break, so this is kind of matching up with the timelines right now on, where things are at the moment right now with the investigation. Eventually, they do get a a call-in from the nanny herself. So they managed to triangulate the location. Very abandoned parking lot, but still has some people. They sadly do find her body killed. But before we even descend on all this, freaking Harper and Lopez decide to have a freaking babysitting interview in their car. Which I'm like, you know what? That is one way to get a job. That is really one way to get that job. They all converge back at the scene, but it's a very quick scene. They look in. They're just like, okay, well, hopefully if she was alive to make that phone call, that the other girl's still alive as well, which means, now time is of the essence to like go find the man and like, bring them both in, see if they can, save a couple more lives before any more have to be lost. I eventually know during one of these, like, while they're looking for just the next lead right now, Lucy eventually blows up about the whole Tim situation. Mostly because, like, this was a decision that wasn't made by her. This was a decision that he made for her, which, honestly, I do get both sides. I do understand from one perspective that, like, yes, Bradford is trying to think of, Lucy's future, that Bradford is not in the overall best place right now, that he's been through this, that he is not in that, mental state to be a partner to someone, because he is not perfect. He's not fully there really anymore. Like, well, not anymore, but like in reality, he's just never been there. And Lucy's just like, okay, that would be acceptable, but that decision was made for me. I want to make it for myself. Which, honestly, yeah, it can get a little bit tricky sometimes. Again, this is why a proper conversation needs to be had, not Bradford just spouting out like, yeah, I think we should, I can't be that man who I was, so I gotta do what I can to like not be that man anymore, which included breaking up with Lucy. I mean, again, that could have been stated differently. That could have went a different way, but yeah, that's why I admit, yeah, that was kind of a big dumb part on Bradford's part. Definitely he's been going more dumb this season, particularly speaking. I want to say, yeah, so and just Grace is hearing all that. It's like, okay, I'm glad to know that you had some emotions about the matter. Just, maybe you should be talking about it with Bradford about this. It seems like a conversation you need to have with him, not with your boss, which I'm like, yeah, I think Lucy eventually realized that point eventually. I want to say eventually they do get a hit on the traffic cam. They are able to find the car that the husband and the girl are in. They start looking around the area. They do eventually find the girl running away. Apparently she escaped. And but even like some of her story doesn't make sense. Like, she jumped out of the car. I'm like, okay, you are a skinny girl, but like I don't believe you have the proper leg and core strength to lift yourself over out of a moving vehicle's window in one fell swoop. Okay, it could happen. I'm not trying to say it's not impossible, but like the likelihood of that happening, I personally don't believe it. So like, but definitely, it's the adrenaline running. It's just like, they just want to believe everything's fine. That, okay, let's just find the man. Let's put him away for murder. And like, we'll be done with that. Bailey comes over. She takes the girl while the rest go look for the husband. They do find her. They do find him next to one of the water barrels in the hills. Nola and Selena respond first to it, but sadly, he's already dead, but not by suicide. It's by murder. He was struck by the head. This wasn't a suicide thing. So definitely another thing away. So if he's been killed, then it's the girl that killed him. And we have her in custody with two people that are not armed. So they page it into Bailey. Bailey is aware of it, but however, sadly, not too long after, the girl manages to escape on her own accord, which I'm like, yeah, Dan, that's a little bit too much to like believe. But then again, this kind of hits a little bit closer to home, but I cannot tell that story, so I'll just leave it at there. So everyone reconverges around. Some of them go by foot, some of them go by car. They could try and find the girl. They're looking all over the place, but nothing really of substance happens. And I just remember two important scenes that I did forget, which I forgot to label them in order. There was a scene where Bradford and the psychiatrist do have a pretty intense moment where, they talk about just where Bradford's mental state is, just like it's not in a healthy place. It is not healthy for whatever Bradford is doing right now. And therefore there should be an accord in place to kind of rectify that. Otherwise, again, like everything's happening with Lucy, it's just part of like something even deeper in his mind that he will have to unravel eventually. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse over time. And the other scene where Selena finally admits, okay, yeah, I'll try Lucy. If she accepts me, okay, I'll take it. Definitely, it just seems like she might be more busy on certain things so that I don't have to get another one of my current roommate problems, again, in my new home. So I'll take it. Eventually, Noah and Selena do find the girl. She was hiding behind a blue van, which I'm like, now you keep moving, or like you don't hide behind a van, like that's only 3 points of cover. Like once they go around, like that's it, you're caught. Brief chase scene occurs, not that long. She gets cornered in a dead end. He has a knife. She's threatening them, like, let me go, and no one gets hurt. Trying to calm her down. Eventually, she admits the whole story. We're like, yeah, it was the case of like, yeah, it was like a kind of a bad start where like, she wanted to have the baby. She already has come from like, having a very bad mother to like, having her own kid would make it be that she can actually have to be that great mother she hoped to be getting. However, the husband didn't want that. He was like, nope, this was an entire mistake. The baby's got to go. Eventually, the nanny kind of gets looped in on it. And then something happens where, they kill, or she's the one who actually kills the husband, but the nanny saw the whole thing and she's like, you committed murder. We have to call the police now. Like, it's over. You got to go away. And she gets scared and she kills her best friend, which I'm like, damn. And again, communication is key, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please, no matter what stressful scenario you're in, communication is important. Eventually she breaks down crying and they manage to make the full arrest on her. It's over. It's all said and done. There and their moment. Everyone starts returning back to the station. Lopez does communicate with Harper that she is taking on the babysitter for herself, but with the added caveat that it will be babysitting for 3 children. That's right. Lopez is allowing, like, just having their babies kind of just be friends, kind of like the dream come true. It's cute. It really is cute. Honestly, I think that's adorable that, both of their 3 kids are going to be, in a very shared loving space together under a very responsible, caregiver. So honestly, that's great. So they agree on that, but they're going to work on the finances a little bit later. Bradford gets the result from his pseudo psych valve and he's cleared. Obviously not perfect, not flying color, but it's Bradford, so he's passed. But Bradford still actually wants to pursue therapy on his own. He admits that there is things he could work on, and today was a proper revelation that like he wants to work through them. So he's going to be signing up on his own accord, which again, Greg finds that commendable. He does have another run-in with Lucy. There's some actual proper conversational one. And again, Bradford, you got to know the room. Like, Lucy doesn't want to say hi to you. She doesn't even want to, engage in small talk. You literally ended your relationship like less than 48 hours ago. And yeah, Lucy blows up at him a little bit. Not too much, but she definitely does make him know her piece on the matter, which again, y'all are in a public workspace. This could be happening behind other doors, but c'est la vie. Selena interjects herself in here and tries to make her pitch of hey, if you need a roommate, I'm available. So not to force you or anything, just if you need someone to help cover the rent, I'm there. And Lucy's like, you know what? That actually works out. Let me come to dinner tonight, and we'll talk about the details there. Which I'm like, damn, that's just really approaching things really really fast, in my opinion. I think from that point onwards, I know Nolan eventually comes back home with Bailey. They talk about the whole baby making process. But Nolan lets her know it's not a competition. I do understand that you are in a much more sensitive time zone, considering you are past the usual age. So there could be complications down the road. But again, things will happen naturally. We will have a baby. It just it might take a little bit more time, and but it will come at the right time, which will be soon, considering the fact the actress is actually pregnant. So we will be getting that baby Nolan soon. Hopefully sooner than later. So they rekeen just okay, we won't make love tonight. We'll take our sweet time, which I guess Bailey deep down realizes the competitive side, it could be itching out. And I lost my bottle cap. There's my bottle cap. Okay. Bradford goes to meet up with the shrink, letting her know I took what you said to heart, that I do need to work out some things with myself, and I'm ready I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to see what might be discovered in the minds of Bradford. And she just says, you know what, fine. Let's do a session right here, right now. And I want to say that was it. I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything else. I stupidly forgot. Tamara and Lucy say goodbye at the pseudo empty room. Everything packed up, everything ready to go for tomorrow's new beginning. And again, you know, like the fact that even Tamara admits, like, you know, less than 3 years ago, she was trying to steal Lucy's car, and Lucy literally gave her a chance to like start over, you know, live with her, have a new beginning, and you know that now they're bonded for life, regardless if, you know, if Tamara ever moves back, if not, you know that they're always going to be related, they're always going to be connected in one way or another. And you know, as much shit as Lucy's been taking the last few episodes, that this was I think the best thing, you know, just like a very somber goodbye for now. Not even goodbye. They'll probably have lunch once a week, most likely speaking. But that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. Which again, I like that we were, you know, all hands on deck on a case. I liked, you know, just, you know, this was just checking in on certain characters, seeing where things are at in their developing storylines, figuring things out. Again, I know the Chenford fans are going to say many things about the decisions that are being made. Again, ladies and gentlemen, they've even admitted this a season ago, where it's not going to be easy. This isn't like rainbows and sparkles. Like, again, I know people have been waiting 4 seasons for this pairing. I do understand that. I've been here since day one. Trust me. I understand where you're coming from. However, sometimes there are going to be challenges. Some relationships, you have a pitch perfect start to finish. Some relations are not like that. You got to work at it. Sometimes, you know, there are going to be bumps in the road. But, you know, again, like, these bumps may seem long, but then when they're over, you know. Again, like, I'm not saying one way or another. It's just have patience. The writers know what they're doing, and we need to trust in them, you know. Like, definitely, y'all waited 4 seasons for them to get together. I think you can wait a little bit longer for them to go through this little impasse. This is a great chance for them to grow as characters, you know, develop themselves further, and if they do end up getting back together, it's going to make them even stronger for it. And if they don't, life goes on. And again, it is what it is by that point. But honestly, I really enjoyed this episode a lot. Which reminds me, in the episode grand scheme, I really liked it. I'm giving this 2 thumbs up. But in the grand scheme of the season, we are now 6 episodes since the cliffhanger of the premiere. We've had no updates on this big bad, this like mysterious big force that the robbers were working with. Like, again, we have no idea what's going on with that. Like, are we gonna get back to that storyline eventually, or are we not? Like, you know, not to say I haven't been enjoying these little side trips, these character development episodes, but like, you know, I kind of want to get back to that. And sadly, the preview for next week doesn't sound too kind for it. So I am very hopeful we will get some sort of update on that before the season's over. But you know, we will see that how that all comes to May. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. I would love to hear your comments down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 6th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the 2 beside our Rookie episode reviews, we're also doing Walker episode reviews each and every Thursday after brand new episodes on Wednesdays on the CW, or on CW. Still weird for me to say after saying it for so many years. But if you don't care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review, so stay tuned until then. Just a little programming update for the future. We will be running consecutively for another 5 weeks of Rookie content. Next 3 weeks are episode review after another, leading to the finale. After that, you'll get your Season 7 predictions video. And then after that, you'll get your Season 6 review in a non-spoiler capacity. So that will take us in throughout the entire month of May. So strap in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about there. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. Until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.